So welcome to Timeguessr. It's basically like GeoGuessr where you have to guess where you are in the world, but you get a picture. And you also, more importantly, have to guess the time. Not the time of day, but the year that the photo was taken in. So where was it taken and when was it taken? The first round. Let me just move myself, I guess, more towards the middle. All right, so we have a picture here. Is that German? No, I do not think it's German. Scandinavian, maybe? But that sign isn't helpful as to where it would be, really, to me. All right, I'm just gonna put it down there for now. I can't really read much else on the sign. But when was this is, of course, also the question. I mean, the picture is in black and white, but that could mean anything. I am gonna go 1960. Yeah, I think it could very well be. And I feel like by the language it's Swedish or something. All right, let's just make the guess. Ooh. Okay, it was Hungary. Wow, it didn't seem Hungarian to me. The year was 1965. Hungarians in Győr anticipating the 1965 European Cup quarter-finals against Amsterdam. Győr won 1-0, going on to lose in the semi-finals against Benfica. I like that they give some information about the picture. I think that's pretty cool. And we got a total of 6,741 points. Not too bad. Not terrible for a start, you know, not terrible. 10,000 points would be the maximum, 6,700. I'll take it. National Association of Old IRA. The IRA, I believe, was from Ireland. I know they were active in Northern Ireland, but I think they were also active in the rest of Ireland. And this seems pretty old, if I'm judging by the hats that people are wearing. Why was everyone in these days always dressed so nicely, you know? Well, I'm gonna go for Dublin, because it's the most likely that a picture was taken in the capital. I want to say 1930. Is that a weird guess? Your grandpa has that jacket? Okay. Can I zoom in on this one? I mean, it's a pretty grainy picture. I mean, this could be World War II era too. Maybe it's slightly later than... Alright, if you're correct, well, I stand corrected. Good on you. Let me see. It's 1939. I was really close. And it was Dublin. Crowds marching through a street in Dublin to commemorate the uprising of Irish nationalists against British rule in Ireland. We got 9,700 points. Alright, next up. We have this guy. Well, this isn't too old. Am I wrong in thinking this is London? Oh, that's a London cab, for sure. It's definitely London. It's gotta be. 2001. I feel like that could be right. Oh, 2000. 1 year off. And location, really close. We got 9,901 points. Wow. Finnish techno artist Deerest in London promoting his hit single Sandstorm. Oh, I know that song. Pretty sure that's Arabic. I've seen this flag, but I don't know which country it is. Why is there so many people cooking here? Morocco? Really? Oh, 2008. Oh, your 2010 guess was pretty good. My bad, but the location was correct. It was the right city. Ooh, what do we have here? Brenner, Aalborg, Garmisch. Maybe like Austria. I don't recognize this plate, but it's an old plate, so doesn't... Wait, hold up. Does that say A above the license plate? Am I the only one that's seen that? Am I going crazy? I think it's a white oval with the letter A. Because if that's the case, it is Austria. I mean, the Beetle, yeah, I mean, it's a Volkswagen Beetle. It's a pretty famous car, but it was used all over Europe. And outside. I believe until a couple of years ago they were still being made in Mexico. This map is in Dutch, which is fine, but it's just gonna make it slightly harder. The Beatles, I mean, they started making them in like the 40s, but they made them until like the 70s, I want to say. You want to go 1963? All right, that's fine. That seems fair. Let's see. 1962. 1 year off. A street scene in 60s Innsbruck. Oh, it was in Innsbruck. So it was Austria. What is our final score? You were pretty close. 43,757. Hey, that is pretty good. Most of them were pretty spot on. All right, another round. Here we go. Oh my, what happened to this picture? Over here. Shekenyi Emolekenek. I'm not even gonna try to read this bottom part. I mean, judging by this guy, I kind of want to say we're in like Eastern Europe. I'm kind of thinking Hungary because it kind of looks the same language-wise. Maybe like 1920 something? 1880s, you think it's that old? I can't even go pre-1900, by the way, so it's got to be after 1900. I mean, yeah, the clothes are pretty old. Like horses or donkeys or whatever they are, like, they can be old, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because in some areas here they use these types of things much later than you might think. In some countries you can still encounter them to this day. All right, let's just do it. 1904. All right, not terrible. Location, it was in Romania, but not that far off where I guessed. I did think about Romania, you know. A memorial plaque to Count Istvan, whatever his name is, a Hungarian statesman and engineer who played a crucial role in modernizing Hungary in the 19th century. It's in Romania, but it was Hungarian, so I was technically right. Technically it was, apparently back then it was Hungary. I guess that's just really unlucky and lucky at the same time. 7,600 points though. We'll take it. Now this is the US. Can't really see what that says. It's pretty cold, there's snow. I want to say these are mostly like maybe 90s cars. Oh, there's a Canadian flag. I didn't even notice. I mean, this style of this guy feels more 80s, but the cars just scream 90s to me. Maybe late 80s. 94, sure. Why not? Sounds about right to me. 1995. Arriving in cold Canada after touring the beaches of Southern Europe. And that was in the east, so the location wasn't that good. It was Canada, but it was all the way on the other side. But the year was only 1 year off. So that's not bad. What is this? There's a huge flood going. You know, if we know the event that the picture is showing, then maybe we could narrow stuff down even more. So, alright, what do we have here? Like, we have Fiat 500s. Can't really tell what's over there. But I think there's a lot of Italian cars. I think this is an Alpha. So I'm gonna go Italy. I feel like that makes sense. Also by the architecture. And I'm thinking maybe 60s. 1962. I don't hate 1962, you know. Maybe a bit later, 65. 1966. 1 year off again. And location, it was Italy. It was, I think this is Florence, right? Well, it doesn't say for me, but I think pretty sure that's Florence. Not too bad, 9,200 points. All right, next round. Endorsed by United Textile Workers for re-election, Roosevelt and Garner. They do not forget their friends. Okay, so if Roosevelt was the president, wow, these are old cars. Like these are like 1920s maybe, 1910, 1920. These are maybe 30s, early 30s. Judging by the fashion too. Happy New Year, Lady Broden. Hope it's a good year for you. For all of us. Roosevelt was president in the late 20s. Maybe the early 30s. I could be wrong. Why does it say Manchester? Like we're not in England, are we? Like I assume this looks like the US. There's no way, the streets are way too big. It's gotta be the US. It's gotta be the US, but where? Chicago? New York? I feel like it's East Coast. Cars look like the mafia cars in the 30s. Yeah, they kinda do. New York? You think New York? Alright, let's go New York. 1929. Let's do that. Ooh, a re-election poster for Roosevelt and Garner hanging on a street in Manchester, New Hampshire. So location, not too bad. There is apparently a Manchester in the US, so that's why. And the year was 1936. Alright, next up, the last round. Wow, this is all... What am I looking at? What? Like, that's not real, I see that, but that's just really weird. It's really old again, even older than the last one, I say. That's a picture of you. Well, I hope not. They do seem to be driving on the right, but I don't know if that was really established back then. Whether you're driving on the right or left, because nowadays they drive on the left, of course, in England, but I don't know what it was like back then. But it could be London. I don't hate it. LD stands for London, you think? I mean, maybe. It's possible. Crown on the plate suggests a country owned by monarchy? I guess so, if that's a crown. I'm not sure if it is, but... Northern England, London. I mean, it's probably London, right? If LD stands for London, then... it's likely London. I'm thinking this is like... Let's say 1915. Oh, 1927. It was a little later than I thought, so this car was quite old by then. But that's always a possibility. It was indeed London. So the location, pretty good. The year, not so good. Final score, 37,083 out of 50,000. I'm pretty happy with that. That's not too bad. Alright, let's do one more, but let's do a time limit. Let's do a minute and a half. Alright, here we go. This, to me, this feels like India. Driving on the left. It's very busy. Look at the signs. I mean, it's hard to read them, and also it doesn't really give away the year usually. They had Sprite. Alright, we gotta go. Almost out of time. I'm gonna go Delhi. You think it's newer? I mean, the bikes look pretty old to me, but maybe not. Alright, let's go 2012. Oh, what? Oh, I have to click. Oh, it's different from GeoGuessr. You have to actually confirm it. Otherwise it doesn't lock in. But it was 2022 and it wasn't even India. Because it was Kampala, Uganda. That's crazy. I really thought it was India, but clearly not. Wow. So it was Africa and it was only 2 years ago. Well, if I knew it was Africa, maybe I would have guessed. I mean, the people were pretty dark. Well, it is how it is. What do we have here? Okay, this is pretty old. Black and white. Bad quality. I don't know who these people are. Well, it sounds pretty Russian, but the signs aren't Russian, so maybe like Eastern Europe. It's gonna be in modern day Serbia. And it's gonna be pretty old, I'm gonna say. Judging by the look of the people, I want to say it's like 1910. Bit too old, maybe. I guess. Ooh, it's not as old as I thought. 1956, Labor Day in Czechoslovakia, Socialist Republic. So the location wasn't terrible, but the year was. I'm getting worse and worse by the second. But that's usually how it just goes for me, you know? Usually I just get worse and worse the longer I play. Alright, we're driving on the left, but again, it's pretty old. I want to say 60s. I'm thinking like Sweden. I think this is a Saab. And the language kind of makes sense. And I think they used to drive on the left in Sweden. I think that was Sweden. I think I remember something like that. Could be wrong. 1964? Sure. 1961, and it was indeed Stockholm. Nice. That's a nearly perfect score, 9,500 points. All right, next up. This feels like a picture from GTA for some reason. That's interesting. Okay, we're in America. That's for sure. 9th Street. Judging by these cars, I want to say it's probably 80s. I mean, why does this look so gamified, you know? It just looks like a screenshot from a game. Las Vegas? I mean, could be something Plaza. Bank of America, I think. It could be Californian plate. Oh, this is definitely Californian plate. No, we gotta be in California. Maybe we're just in LA. Maybe that's why it looks like GTA. And this, I'm guessing, like 19... Well, this car looks slightly older in terms of its use, so 86. Oh, wow. 9,800 points. It's 1985, and it was in LA. A view from a passenger seat on Interstate 110. I'm happy with that one. Alright, final one. This looks like Hungarian again. Oh, Cyprus. Cyprus, so it's Turkish, probably. Oh, judging by how people are dressed, I want to say pretty recently. I'm not seeing any mobile phones, though, which you would assume to find if it was the last couple of years. So I'm gonna go Cyprus, and I'm hoping that's right. Let's say 2015. Just before the smartphones became like complete mainstream. 2013, alright. Oh, it wasn't Cyprus. It was Hungary. So I was right with the language at first. There was just a sign for Cyprus for some reason. Oh, I didn't even guess Cyprus. Whoops. Cyprus is over there. But I was wrong anyway. So it doesn't matter. Still some good points. 30,687. Could have been worse, could have been better. I'm done with this game. Pretty cool though. I might come back to it.